the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rofh Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Authorities arrest most wanted NPA member in Quezon. Port and IB boosts anti-insurgency drive with info campaign in southern Leyte. MMDA launches website for traffic violators through NCAM. GA says kaliwa ng Pangulo stores to sell cheaper pork in August.
Hello to everyone, especially to our troops at Camp Emilio Ginaldo in Quezon City. Today is Tuesday, June 17, and this is AFP Committee News, your source for the updates on the armed forces and other developments across the country. I am Rofh Suzon-Abay, here to bring you today's story.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
For the brief overview of our news, authorities arrested a new People's Army member with a 1.2 million pesos bounty in Barangay Rosario, Gumaca, Quezon. Ordasco Ordante, alias Kasakay, faces murder and kidnapping charges under warrants issued by courts in Puerto Princesa City. The Department of the Interior and local government confirmed both charges are non-bailable under Memorandum Circular Number 2025-2. He is currently in custody at the Gumaca Municipal Police Station for processing and will be turned over to the issuing court.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The 14th Infantry Avenger Battalion intensified its anti-insurgency efforts through a series of upland pagpahibalo o kagawasan o OPUK activities in key barangays of Hinunangan and St. Bernard, Southern Leyte. Through its modified community support program teams, the unit educated residents about the deceptive recruitment tactics of the CPP, NPA, NDF, and promoted government programs such as the Enhanced Comprehensive Local Integration Program and the Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020. There were lectures, and 3 former rebels shared first-hand testimonies of their difficult experiences within the communist movement. Relatedly, 49 urged the locals to support peace initiatives and remain alert against enemy influence.
Armed Forces Radio.
From NOLCOM, let us hear some information from Joanne about 502nd Infantry Brigade conducts insertion activity on the first day of Sabak 2025 Phase 2.
The 502nd Infantry Brigade of the Philippine Army conducted an air insertion activity on June 16, 2025 as part of the first day of the Salakni Balikatan Exercise or Sabak 2025 Phase 2 held at the Oval of Isabela State University main campus in the Tiague, Isabela. The air insertion was conducted using a Black Hawk helicopter led by personnel from the Special Operations Force of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The activity aimed to showcase their capabilities and response during times of disaster or calamity. The public is reminded not to be alarmed or panic when seeing convoys of U.S. and Philippine Army truck on those roads in Region 2. The 501st Infantry Brigade previously announced that a long military convoy of combat vehicles would be visible on the roads from Fort Magsaysay, Nueva Ecija to the 502nd Infantry Brigade in Tiague, Isabela, and then to Camp Melchor F. de la Cruz in Gamo, Isabela. This is part of the Balikatan Sabak 2025 Phase 2, an annual activity of the Philippine Army to enhance the capabilities of its personnel. Security measures are in place to ensure public safety during the conduct of the activity. Sabak Phase 2 is set to conclude on June 20, 2025. This is Joan Sagauk reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Joanne from NOLCOM.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Bravo Company of the 89th Infantry Battalion spearheaded the massive awareness campaign on youth recruitment and community security at the Panal Salan Barangay Covered Court, Bukidnon. The event held in celebration of Linggo ng Kabataan drew around 60 youth participants. Troops educated the youth on the 7 stages of recruitment, and promoted a culture of vigilance. Local officials and partner agencies joined the campaign and strengthened interagency cooperation to protect and empower the youth.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Philippine Army Chief Lieutenant General Roy Galido visited the 8th Infantry Stormtroopers Division to reaffirm the Army's commitment to operational excellence and soldier development in Eastern Visayas. He led the Commanding General of Philippine Army awarding ceremony, honoring the 8 RD units and personnel for their outstanding service. Army Chief emphasized creating a supportive work environment, prioritizing soldier welfare, and encouraging professional growth through civil service eligibility and continuous education. The visit concluded with a Stormtroopers Road Run, promoting the physical fitness as a core military value.
Armed Forces Radio.
And more updates from Leonor Tanap, former rebel, reveals location of armed cache in Tiboli, South Cotabato.
Rofh and arms cache was discovered through the joint intelligence operations of the 37th Infantry Battalion and the 105th Infantry Battalion in Barangay Laconon, Tiboli, South Cotabato. The discovered firearms include 3 M16 rifles belonging to the Platoon Chilbis, Regional Centro de Gravidad Far South Mindanao Region. This firearms discovery was made possible after former rebels provided crucial information to the 37th Infantry Battalion and the 105th Infantry Battalion regarding the arms cache's location. Meanwhile, Brigadier General Michael Santos, Philippine Army, commander of 603rd Infantry Brigade, urged the people to continue supporting the government's campaign against communist terrorist threats. This is Leonor Tanap reporting for AFP Community News, 1FP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Leonor Tanap.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines commissioned 102 newly procured service vehicles during a turnover and blessing ceremony led by AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr. at Camp Emilio Ginaldo in Quezon City. He highlighted the importance of modern transport in enhancing operational and administrative functions and emphasized that the acquisition supports AFP's goal of becoming a more mission-ready and capable force. Funded through the General Appropriations Act, the vehicles will be deployed across AFP units nationwide to transport personnel and equipment and provide logistical support. The procurement is part of the AFP's ongoing modernization and logistics enhancement efforts.
DWDD National News.
And now for our national news, the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority launched its website for traffic violators caught through the no contact apprehension policy. According to MMDA Chair Don Artes, the My Huli Ka website will allow motorists to check if they have committed any traffic violations online. The website can be accessed through phones, tablets, and computers. Once on the website, motorists need to type their plate number or conduction number along with their motor vehicle or MV file number.
Armed Forces Radio.
On the other line, let us hear more from Kath about Royal New Zealand Air Force Chief visits Clark Air Base in Pampanga.
Yes, Rofh, good noon. Air Vice Marshal Darren Webb, Chief of Air Force of the Royal New Zealand Air Force, together with his delegation, visited Clark Air Base in Pampanga. The delegation was warmly welcomed with military honors and paid a courtesy call to Major General Dennis G. Australia Puff, Commander of Air Logistics Command. Air Vice Marshal Webb also had a windshield tour of the 4th Maintenance Wing Complex and flight ramp. This meaningful engagement highlights the growing partnership between the Philippine Air Force and the Royal New Zealand Air Force. This is Kat reporting for AFP Community News, 1AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Kath.
DWDD National News.
The Department of Agriculture bared plans to make cheaper pork available to more Filipinos through its Kadiwa ng Pangulo stores. DA Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. said he expects the move to help lessen inflationary pressures on pork. starting in the first week of August. He also added that the cheaper pork will not only be for the minimum wage earners, but for the general public. In terms of prices, Chu Laurel explained that it is cheaper because of government intervention in terms of slashing logistics or middleman costs.
DWDD National News.
Fuel prices went up today for the second consecutive week. The per liter prices of gasoline and diesel increased by 1 peso and 80 centavos, while the cost of kerosene went up by 1 peso and 50 centavos per liter. Local industry sources attributed the increase to the exchange of missile attacks between Israel and Iran.
Armed Forces Radio.
Let us hear more from Meljoy of First Year G about 77 IB conducts PA Reservist Regular Force event in Ilocos Norte.
Yes, Rofh, the Philippine Army's 77th Infantry Battalion under the command of the 5th Infantry Division successfully conducted a formal event titled One Force, One Mission, Bridging Reserve and Regular Forces at the battalion headquarters located in Barangay 15, Visaya Vintar, Ilocos Norte. In a concerted effort to strengthen the integration between reservist members of the Philippine Army and active duty personnel, reservists participated in a joint training exercise at the firing range. This initiative aimed to foster camaraderie, enhance operational readiness, and promote seamless coordination between reserve and regular forces. The event underscores the Philippine Army's commitment to building a unified, capable, and resilient force prepared to serve the nation effectively. This is Meljoy Nasho Arroco reporting for AFP Community News. One AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Meljoy of First CRG.
DWDD National News.
On the other hand, the Department of Transportation, together with the Land Transportation Office and the Land Transportation Franchising Regulatory Board, announced strict sanctions against erring officials and transport operators. This comes after viral videos exposed misconduct by government personnel and taxi drivers taking advantage of passengers. Transportation Secretary Vince Dizon emphasized public officials are servants and not lords. He added that if any DOTR agency official disobeys the President's directive against abuse, they will face consequences.
DWDD National News.
A Filipina caregiver in Israel is in critical condition, while 2 others were also injured when a missile launched by Iran struck their residence. The Philippine Embassy in Tel Aviv said it has extended aid to the 3 unidentified Filipinos, and it continues to coordinate with Israeli authorities. The Filipina caregiver remains in critical condition at the Shamir Medical Center. The embassy explained that she sustained severe injuries to her heart and lungs and continues to receive intensive medical care.
Armed Forces Radio.
Let us hear more updates from Bay about Philippine Navy Reserve Force launches official hymn.
The Naval Reserve Command has officially launched the Philippine Navy Reserve Force hymn titled Himno ng Laang Kawal Pandagat Hamon ng Alon. The launch took place during a simultaneous flag raising ceremony led by Major General Doroteo Jose M. Halandoni, Philippine Navy Marines Commander of the Naval Reserve Command. The ceremony brought together members of the command, personnel from the various Naval Reserve Centers, naval reservists, and the ROTC training staff from different ROTC units. The hymn Hamon ng Alon was composed by artist and Navy Reservist musician 2nd Class Hernani Lazaro M. Cuenco Jr., assigned to the Naval Reserve Center, National Capital Region. This Beatrice reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Bea.
DWDD National News.
For other national news, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. visited the Epifanio de los Santos Elementary School in Malati yesterday on the first day of classes of this school year. Accompanied by Education Secretary Sonny Angara, Marcos made the rounds of classrooms and even had a reading session with one class. He said he has directed the Department of Information and Communications Technology to widen and improve the internet coverage across the country to reach schools in far-flung areas and the Department of Trade and Industry to ensure there is no overpricing of school supplies. The Department of Health was also tasked to ensure public schools have facilities for first aid needs, while the Philippine National Police was ordered to ramp up security near schools.
DWDD National
And no
News.
elected official in the recent May 2025 elections will be allowed to assume office without first filing their statement of contributions and expenditures, according to the Department of the Interior and Local Government. Under Section 14 of Republic Act 7166 and Commission on Elections Resolution 10730, all candidates and political parties were required to submit their SOSE by June 11, 2025. The law does not allow for extensions. The DILG then ordered all its regional and field offices to coordinate closely with the Commonwealth to verify SOSE compliance before allowing any official to take office at the local level.
Armed Forces Radio.
From Solcom, let us hear from Jess about Task Force Alcac and AFP Unite for Sustainable Peace in Lipa City.
Yes, Rofh, in a strong show of unity for sustainable peace and inclusive development, the Lipa City Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict signed a memorandum of understanding with the 202nd Infantry Brigade and 59th Infantry Battalion Philippine Army to support the declaration of stable internal peace and security status in the city. Lipa City Mayor Honorable Eric B. Africa welcomed the attendees and reaffirmed the city's commitment to interagency collaboration in upholding peace and accelerating development efforts. Meanwhile, Brigadier General Ronald Jessa Socudia Philippine Army, commander of 202nd Infantry Brigade, underscored the need for vigilance against communist terrorist group recruitment, particularly targeting the youth. He called on local officials, educators, and community stakeholders to remain proactive in shielding schools and vulnerable sectors from CPP-NPA-NDF influence and radicalization efforts. The MOU signing is a significant step in advancing the whole-of-nation approach to end local armed conflict, institutionalizing peace-building mechanism, and reinforcing coordination between the military and local governments and civil society. Through this partnership, the Armed Forces of the Philippines reaffirm its commitment to protect communities, empower the youth, and preserve peace throughout Calabarzon. This is Jess from SOCOM reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jess from Solcom.
Armed Forces Radio.
Another reporter on the ground. Let us hear the report of Gina about 6FAB shares knowledge on artillery with ROTC cadets.
Yes, Rofh, in a continuing effort to train and inspire future military leaders, the 6th Field Artillery Battalion conducted a lecture on basic artillery operations for 350 ROTC cadets under the 12th Regional Community Defense Group Rescom in Isulan, Sultan Kudarat. Through the lecture, cadets gained valuable insights into artillery tactics, procedures, and how these assets are employed in actual field scenarios. The Armed Forces remains dedicated to build a competent, well-informed, and mission-ready reserve force. This is Gina reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Gina.
DWDD National News.
For other national news, Malacanang Senate Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will scrutinize every provision of the Konektadong Pinoy Bill, paying special attention to its possible impact on national security, industry regulation, and the welfare of ordinary Filipinos. Presidential Communications Office Under Secretary Claire Castro said the proposed law will be carefully reviewed amid concerns raised by telecommunication companies. Telcos are worried that some provisions of the law may weaken the government's regulatory authority and increase digital risks. Castro added that the president will balance what is for the good for the public and if there is a negative impact on the telco industry.
DWDD National News.
Senator Alan Peter Cayetano urged the incoming 20th Congress to continue investigating online gaming activities in the country. Cayetano said that despite the passage of the measure that will ban Philippine offshore gaming operations, Online gaming activities persist and are getting bigger. During the last session of the 19th Congress, the senator praised his colleagues with the passage of the anti-Pogo bill. He also praised opposition Senator Risa Hontiveros for spearheading a series of hearings and investigations that led to the passing on June 11.
Armed Forces Radio.
And now from Congress, let us hear from Terence about House Leader condemns the fatal shooting of a Secretariat Director.
Speaker Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez, deeply saddened and outraged by the tragic death of Director Mauricio Mori Pulhin, Chief of Technical Staff of the Committee on Ways and Means of the House of Representatives, expressed condemnation on the fatal shooting of the director. Pulhin was shot and killed over the weekend in an attack that has left his family and our community in shock and grief, he said. Speaker Romualdez said that Director Pulhin was a long-serving and dedicated public servant with professionalism and integrity and had quiet commitment to his work that earned him the respect of his peers and superiors alike. Thus, the House Leader condemns this brutal act of violence in the strongest possible terms. He added that while it is too early yet to determine the motive behind this heinous crime, he is calling on the Philippine National Police, PNP, the National Bureau of Investigation, NBI, and all law enforcement agencies to conduct a thorough, impartial, and swift investigation. This is Terence Mordeno Grana reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Terence from Congress.
Armed Forces Radio.
And now some information from Glenn Gultian about Philippine Air Force empowers Mindanao youth through Leadership Summit.
Yes, Rofh, the Philippine Air Force, through the Air Combat Command, successfully hosted the final leg of the Youth Leaders Summit at Edwin Andrews Air Base in Zamboanga City, with the theme Youth Air Warriors Arise, advancing with focus, resilience, integrity, stewardship, and empowerment for the nation's future. The three-day summit gathered youth leaders from various organizations and ROTC units across the region. The activity was formally opened with a keynote message from Major General Roman and Joso, Philippine Air Force Commander of ACC, and featured a series of leadership talks and strategic discussion on national security and air power. The initiative intends to deepen participation understanding of national defense while highlighting their role in addressing maritime security challenges and promoting peace through collaboration with non-government organizations, communities, and law enforcement agencies. This is your Gleneagle John reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Glenn Gultian.
DWDD National News.
For our weather update, the low pressure area of Romblon would be bringing scattered rains and thunderstorms over Metro Manila and adjoining provinces over the next 24 hours. Pag-asa weather specialist Robert Badrina said the LPA was estimated over the coastal waters of Corsuera in the province of Romblon. Badrina said the LPA would bring cloudy skies with scattered rains over Mimaropa, Bicol region, Zambales, Bataan, Pampanga, and Bulacan. Meanwhile, the easterlies have been affecting the Isabela, Quirino, and Aurora, bringing cloudy skies with rain showers and thunderstorms.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And that concludes today's broadcast, and thank you so much for tuning in, especially to our audience on AFP Radio, DWDD's Facebook page. Be sure to join and catch us again tomorrow for more stories and updates, same time and same station. Once again, this is Rofh Suzon-Abay for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rofh Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Ito ang DWDD 1134 kHz AM. Balita, impormasyon at musika. Ito ang DWDD AFP Radio. Boses ng Kawal Pilipino.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas.